the epididymis, a tightly coiled 6-meter-long tube which can hold over 1 billion sperm.
Sperm are really quite unique because they're almost like free-living cells. They almost have a life of their own. They have but one aim, which is to deliver a genetic payload from the male to the female through a really quite complex series of environments, both in the male and the female reproductive tract.
You've got hundreds of millions of cells that are swimming wildly about. You've got a lot of death. You've got a lot of obstacles to overcome.
Sperm counts are considered low if the count is generally less than 20 million sperm per milliliter of ejaculate. Some experts consider less than 15 million per milliliter as being the lower limit of normal.
Well, they never asked for directions, which is part of the problem. The concentration of sperm in the sample is 87 million. The average man will have 60 to 80 million sperms.
How much sperm per milliliter a man makes. In a man that has a 2 milliliter ejaculate, which is about a half a teaspoon, that's sort of in that normal range, how many millions per ejaculate he makes. And a normal number should be somewhere around 20 million or higher. I've also seen men that come in and have 200 million sperm per milliliter.
We have sunk to a new low in our society. Taking the life of an innocent human being that is your own flesh and blood and your own DNA. It's not normal. And it is time for us to rectify what we have done.
Lust is a sexual desire that dishonors its object and disregards God. The lusted after woman or man in your head or on the screen or on the street is dishonored, not treated as a sacred, precious, eternal person in the image of God.
And it had nothing to do with religious shame. I didn't really grow up religious. I simply realized at that time I couldn't even not do it for a day to allow my injuries to heal. Over 10 hours a day. I tried to quit dozens of times, hundreds of times. I realized that I essentially conditioned my brain to prefer pixels over, people and partners.
Very few people realize just how addictive pornography really is. Pornography is as addictive as crack cocaine. One exposure to a 13-year-old boy at just the right time, and he will grab that, and it will become very much a part of him and will be there for the rest of his life. It functions very much like drugs. You take a little bit and it goes a long ways, but you bore with that and you take a little more, and you need more, and you need more, and you need more.
Like, I didn't ever think that, watching porn and, doing drugs was gonna have me one day talking to you, but I'm here.
It's me, Terry Crews again. The subject is dirty little secret. For years, my dirty little secret was that I was addicted to pornography.
So that you begin with soft-core pornography. That's Playboy, Penthouse.
Playboy was my gateway into full-on pornography addiction. My dad had a Playboy left out at age 5, and it's affected almost every choice I made for the rest of my life from age 5 to now having to kick the habit. And it just presents itself in the open, like it's okay. And I stand up and say, it's not okay. People are brainwashed by it. People are addicted to it. It is the modern day cigarette. Some people drown themselves in drugs, and I drown myself in my addiction.
Which was what?
Sex.
I try to stay off of pornography, man. That's one of my biggest arch nemesis is pornography.
Why?
Because it just weakens me. Yeah.
How so?
My fantasies and stuff, they're not mine anymore.
Then what happens with an addiction to pornography is you go from there to a little fire trail, a little barrier, where you've seen everything that a man and woman can do together. Now what? Because, see, one of the characteristics of pornography is that you bore with it. This stage becomes boring very quickly.
somebody created them better than my imagination can. And so they live in these, on the internet in these boxes. And it's like not having to be engaged with my actual feelings or anything. So then when I am engaging with somebody that I care about or something, it just doesn't calculate for me emotionally as well. But it's definitely made it tougher for me over the years. I think it should be shut down, man. I think it's harming a lot of men, man. I really, really do.
But it also impacted my relationships.
People who spend too much time watching pornography, they have trouble performing with regular sex.
It was something that, my wife was literally like, I don't know you anymore. I'm out of here.
I mean, it just takes out the intimacy.
There's definitely a danger in immediate access to pornography. Today it's the most immediate access because you get it on your phone.
Oh, you can get it, yeah.
You pull up your laptop, open it up, type in some words. It's so easy. And this has never been the case before. I mean, it's unlike any other time period in human history. When you have instant access to things, you can abuse it.
Then you move on to another one, and you're walking down this path. What happens when you get to the point that you've seen it all?
This morning, more Hollywood heavyweights are being accused of sexual harassment.
There are new developments in the scandal involving movie mogul Harvey Weinstein.
New allegations against Kevin Spacey,
Louis C.K.,
James Toback,
Jeffrey Tambor,
director Brett Ratner,
actor James Franco,
actor Dustin Hoffman.
You recently revealed you were sexually assaulted by a director.
Well,
why did you reveal it?
There is a bit of a witch hunt happening. It's across every industry.
Yes.
The focus seems to be on Hollywood at the moment. But it's across every industry.
Even that freaky, weird pedophile that be going on, you hear about it, but it's dark and demonic energy that this industry was built on. And people manipulate young women, they manipulate kids, and at the end of the day, it's all for the dollar and all to feed their ego. So I've seen where you be like, that's just not right.
And they go to the perversions.
The biggest political scandal Britain has ever faced. It involves a secret network of the highest office holders in the land. Cabinet ministers, judges, diplomats, even one of the country's top spies. These men are accused of some of the most sadistic child sexual abuse imaginable on hundreds of victims.
Now, I wish I'd have moved this whole thing over because the final stage of this is death.
You're essentially depersonalizing the person in front of you and imagining porn in your head to actually maintain arousal. I realized at that point it was out of control.
For the record, you are guilty of killing many women and girls.
Yes, that's true.
Ted, how did it happen?
My experience with, I'd say, pornography generally, but with pornography that deals on a violent level with sexuality, once you become addicted to it, and I look at this as a kind of addiction, I would keep looking for more potent, more explicit, more graphic kinds of material. Like an addiction, you keep craving something which is harder, something which gives you a greater sense of excitement.
It changes the way you think about people. People become objects. People become body parts. They become things to be used rather than people to be loved.
It's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. When you depersonalize another person and view them as just an object for pleasure instead of a living, breathing human being, it seems to make it easier to do things you shouldn't do.
I just view things as objects. People, animals, trees, cars, they're just all the same to me. I just feel everything's pretty much on this earth's a waste of time, really.
Well, then let me ask you, John, does it make it easier to kill someone because you vision everything, you look at everything other than your family as just one and the same?
That's
basically an object.
Right.
Does that make it easier?
I would have to say it would.
Until you reach the point where the pornography only goes so far. You reach that jumping off point where you begin to wonder if maybe actually doing it will give you that which is beyond just reading about it or looking at it.
You're essentially depersonalizing the person in front of you.
I desensitized myself to it. I had these obsessive desires and thoughts wanting to control them.
And all the pornography that I had been buying, renting, swapping, I had gotten my hands on some bondage and discipline pornography. I had eventually started using some of this bondage and discipline because of the excitement. That was very arousing and heightening to me.
We are your sons and we are your husbands. We grew up in regular families, and pornography can reach out and snatch a kid out of any house today. It snatched me out of my home 20, 30 years ago. And as diligent as my parents were, there is no protection.
I was saving body parts such as skulls and skeletons. No one had a clue as to what was happening.
There was no clue.
It was my secret, nobody knew, and that allowed it to grow.
You start out with tame stuff, and little by little, you go up to more and more extreme acts.
It was something that had taken time to build up. It didn't just happen. It took time to build that up. I had been fantasizing about killing. I believe it would have been maybe as short as another month or two, and I would have actually killed him if I was not arrested.
Death.
I'm no social scientist and I haven't done a survey, but I've lived in prison for a long time now. I've met a lot of men who were motivated to commit violence just like me. And without exception, every one of them was deeply involved in pornography without question, without exception, deeply influenced and consumed by an addiction to pornography. There's no question about it. The FBI's own study on serial homicide shows that the most common interest among serial killers is pornography.